Hello everyone and welcome back to Knitting House Square. This is Madeline, and in today's video I wanted to show a quick tutorial on how you could prevent pooling in your yarn by alternating skeins when you're working flat knitting. So this is actually going to be part of a sweater video I'm putting out, and I can link to the sweater tutorial when it comes out up here in the corner. But that sweater is knit flat, and one of the yarns I selected to knit one of the sweater samples out of is this one by Lion Brand. So this is what it looks like in the skein. And what happens is when you tend to knit different size panels, it tends to pool differently. So what pooling means is essentially the colors gather together. So here's one sample. This is probably about 6 inches wide. And you can see the stripes. It's like brown, green, brown, pink, brown, green, brown, pink, and it would keep on going. So this is one width. Then if I knit a different panel, a different width, put it in the same order, this is what it looks like. So the stripes and the whole fabric, of course they're different textures here, but they look completely different. Now if you want to knit one sweater and there's different panels that are different widths, what you need to do is you actually need to alternate skeins to prevent this color pooling from happening and to have the one sweater look more cohesive. So this is just knitting one skein, just from the bottom all the way up until the top. And what I'm going to show you on this sample is how to alternate. Then at the end, we can compare what the two look like. Now, what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 things of yarn of the same color. So this is just a small little bit I've left over and then a full skein here. And to start, I'm going to join 1 skein of yarn. And in this case, work whatever pattern it would be. So I'm just knitting across the first row, joining in this yarn. Now I'm going to turn my work, and I'm still working with that exact same ball or skein of yarn. And I'm just going to work in pattern now, whatever your pattern may be, across the back side. Now when I turn my work, this is where I'm going to switch balls of yarn. So everything that I just worked across and then back again, that was all one ball of yarn. Now I'm not going to cut it, I'm just going to put it to the side. And now I'm going to pick up my next ball of yarn. I'm going to go into the first stitch, whatever your pattern is. So for me it's knit, and I'm just going to loop that yarn over. I have about 8 inches or so there. Put it right on my knitting needle, and now I'm going to begin knitting across with this ball of yarn. Turn my work and still work across the back side with this same one I just joined. Now when I turn my work again, this is where I'm going to switch back to using the original thing of yarn. So the way I do this is I go into my first stitch, and then I'm going to pull the working yarn. Let me rearrange these. So my second one is further away. I'm going to pull that working yarn just up along the edge loosely. I don't pull it too tight, and just go right around that first stitch as if to knit. And I keep on working all the way across that row. So I'm just alternating essentially 2 rows of one ball of yarn, then the next 2 rows, the next ball of yarn, and all of my ends and everything are over here on the right-hand side when I look at the front of my work. Then I'm turning my work and back across with this same ball of yarn. Now I'm going to take my second ball of yarn and just carry it right up the side, begin knitting with it. And I'm just going to keep on alternating all the way up this swatch, and then I'll show you the comparison at the end. Now here's the swatch I just finished. So you can see the difference between the two is essentially the frequency with which the rows change. So this one has essentially like 2 rows of each color, or sorry, really 4 rows because it's garter stitch. Whereas this one, the color is changing all the time, and sometimes in the middle of a row, right? Sometimes row by row by row by row. So that's what we're going for with alternating between skeins of yarn. One other thing I wanted to show is what the side of this looks like. So essentially this little set of loops going up the edge is me carrying the one skein up the side while I'm working with the other. So those are my 2 samples. And then if you want to see it on a larger project, this is the sweater video I was just referring to. So this whole sleeve was done alternating between skeins. So you can see how there really is no color pooling that's going on in the sleeve. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you next time.